Hello and welcome back to Rugby Geeks. We have just finished watching the Brumbies trounce the Western Force. Final scores on the doors there were 42. Oh God, how have I forgotten that already? 42-14. It's the first game of Super Rugby I've watched for a little while, I'm not going to lie. And I was relatively impressed with the standard of rugby. I'm going to give it to the Aussies. It was a good game to watch. Very open, fast play. Lots of Harlem Globetrotters in the backs from the Brumbies, who quite clearly used a very heavy backline attack. And the Western Force using more of their forwards to bring play through. But again, a lot of backs play and a lot of moving the ball around. It was a really great game to watch. Let's talk you through some of the key points. In my notes here, I've put huge pressure coming from Brumbies in the first half. And the Force's penalty count was just out of control. It ended up in Kuridrani going to the bin for 10, and then the floodgates of tries began to open. We had the first one, Ikatawa went in, which was converted. Then Ikatawa got his second of the day, again converted. Then Neville went over to make it 19-0. It was a bit of a drubbing, and I started to feel a bit sorry for Western Force, if I'm being honest. Again, that was converted to make it 21-0. Then Murray Head joined the party to make it 26-0. Again converted. The kicker, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, but I'll get it as we watch more Super Rugby. Loesio, fantastic with the boot. Everything was going straight down the heart of the posts. So half-time, the teams went in at 28-0. Western Force with it all to do. And what I understand, that was to be expected. But they didn't disappoint in the second half. They came out with a much more attacking mindset and really took the game to the Brumbies. And performed really well in the second half. They used a lot of forwards crashing through the 12-13 channel, which caused the Brumbies some trouble. And I think if Western Force can utilise that a little bit more and mix that up a bit with some Harlem Globetrotters in the backs, it could have been a very, very different outlook. But not to be, and it was what it was. Brumbies continued to walk away with it, so the second half started with tries, a try for Force, Tafu getting over, and the conversion from Pryor. But Brumbies didn't take long to answer that with a try of their own through Lonergan. Again, another conversion from Loesio. I'm just going to try different ways of saying it. Lolesio? I don't know. Somebody will put the pronunciation in the comments for me. But then Brumbies had their own periods where they just couldn't keep Western Force quiet, and penalties started to rain down on Brumbies, and they were a victim of a sin bin. It was Lloyd to go to the bin, but that was obviously because of repeated offences. It wasn't necessarily that he'd been a naughty boy. And that allowed Force to get another try back. But that was their last try of the game as Murray Head trundled over to make it 42-14. Right, let's have a little butchers at some of these match stats, shall we? Let's get those up. So, 6 tries to 2. Meters made 298, I think that is, or 296. I can't really see. It's very small. Plays 138. And let me tell you, in the first half, Brumbies had already made 200 metres, and Western Force was still in low double figures. Carries 101 versus 78. Defenders beaten 28 versus 9. Clean breaks 6 plays 2. Passes 163 versus 102. Offloads 12. Fabulous chicken wings versus the Force's 5. And turnovers conceded 7 plays 5. The stats really do speak to the performance of this game. Brumbies outclassed Force in almost every department. But there were signs of promise for the Force, as I said before. Really great to see them use forwards through the 12-13 channel to set up their plays. Defensively, in the second half, they weren't too bad, to be fair. There was a lot of damage done in the first half, and it was always going to be very difficult for the Brumbies for the Force to undo that damage. But they stood up a lot stronger in the second half. It took them a long time to work out that the Brumbies were going to play screen pass after screen pass after screen pass and never use the dummy runner. But once the Force worked that out, they started to rush past that dummy runner and put Brumbies under a little bit of pressure in the back line, which was good to see. But yeah, really, poor old Western Force. They did well to keep it under 50 after that first half performance. So props to them for that. But Brumbies take the win and march on. I hear more good things to come from them. Right, so next game up for us on the live streams is going to be this evening. France take on Scotland for the Six Nations title. France need to win by 21 points to take the title. If they don't, Wales win it. And if Scotland win by 21, Wales win it. But Scotland finish second. So there's plenty up for grabs for both teams. Like, Scotland would bite anybody's arm off at the beginning of this Six Nations to have finished second. So they will be giving it their all to get that dub. But we'll see what the French can do in Wafflegate game. Tomorrow morning we're going to do the Waratahs versus the Reds, so do join us for that as well. And if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit subscribe. We're Rugby Geeks. We want more subscribers. We want to share this community with you. So all that's left for me to say is face down, ass up. That's the way we like to ruck.